Hello and welcome to the Best Today podcast. I am your host, Shantae Grant, and today I'm really excited to talk to you. This should be a pretty short episode for you. I want to talk to you a little bit about where I am, something I've been thinking about, and where I am really pouring my time right now as it relates to, my time. So I had this conversation with... Well, hold on. I'm trying to decide, do I want to start there? Let's start here. Last week over on my Substack, for those on the journey, which I'll link to in the show notes, you can just scroll wherever you're listening and you'll see a link to it. I talked about getting back to who I am and what I want. I talked about recently, just so often I talk about telling you, right? It's so important to get clear on who you are and what you want. And I want to make sure you're aware that with that, there's going to be some evolution. There are going to be some parts of you that are likely steadfast, right? But there are other things like your desires and what's important to you. That's going to evolve over time as you continue to evolve and just live and enter into different seasons of your life. And so that's something that I'm consistently doing by just staying really using my Anytime Today journal, right? That's one of the prompts in itself, is today I want. But really trying to stay in tune with also how my body reacts and feels to the things that are happening professionally, personally. And, professionally, I've been in a shift. There's been a big shift for me in really looking at the things that make me excited, that I'm excited about, right? Like that I'm excited about. Not that I'm good at, not that I enjoy, but what excites me. And a lot of that I've noticed has changed. Things that I really enjoyed before just don't bring me the excitement that, and I've just noticed that. So all that to say, I've just started thinking like, what are the things that excite me and how do I want to get back into that? And that ties into conversation I just had recently talking about the crowd, the curious, and the committed. And so that's what I want to talk to you a little bit about today and how that has led to a decision that I've made that I talked about, like I said, in the article for those on the journey. But essentially, it's this concept of thinking about, at least how I'm thinking about it, as a teacher, as a learner, but as a person who has built community, right? I have built community, a community of women who have benefited from applying the things that I teach in the manner in which I teach them to their lives. Women of all ages, stages across the globe. And I think about the levels: crowd, curious, and the committed. The crowd is, for instance, something like Instagram, right? It's a lot of people. At one point, it was over 12,000 people. That's slowly starting to dwindle its way down, which is great. There's a crowd. And a crowd is just think about it. It's people who are just out there hearing something, right? They acknowledge sometimes, right, the person who is on stage or speaking, or maybe they're just there because, it's a lot of people here, so I want to see what everyone else is doing, right? And from the crowd, when I'm addressing and teaching and talking or sharing resources from the crowd, something that I have said or done sparks the ears of the next level, and that's the curious. And the curious are those people who something that was said got your attention enough where you want to know a little bit more. It was like, okay, hold on. What does she mean about living life on the other side of the busy? What does she mean by getting clear on who you are and what you want? What does she mean by honoring your season? I want to know a little bit more, right? You're curious. And so you get a little more information. That might be you get on the email list, or you purchase a resource because you want to learn a little bit more. And you start using it. You're kind of curious, like, okay, something about this has caught my attention. But then we go past the curious to the committed, right? And notice these groups are getting smaller and smaller in number. And the committed are those who say, I like what I heard in the crowd, which led me to look into it a little bit more. And when I was curious and actually engaged, I like what I saw, what I heard, what I experienced, right? And now I am committed to trying or doing this thing this way. I'm committed to this thing, and I have become part of a community. And I share those three levels, the crowd, the curious, and the community, because it helps to explain what getting back to what matters to me looks like. And I've said it in so many ways, actually, when I go back and look at other episodes or things that I've written or shared. I've said this in so many ways, but now I have some words that I like to put toward it. And it is that my focus now is on the committed. Because the committed are the people who make up the community. They make up my community, and they're the people who, what are the words I'm looking for? I was going to say reciprocate my efforts, but I don't even know if that's the word, because it's the people who, I know it is, it's the people who engage and get the results and then come back and it's kind of like, and rinse, repeat, right? It's the people who have decided that this is a place I want to give and share my space, time, and the committed, which make up my community. That's where I want to put my focus. And that's what I've been saying with, I'm over Instagram, me personally, for a number of reasons. But it's, and that's it. And I realized, like I said, this gave me the words that I've been looking for. I'm no longer interested in spending a lot of time speaking to the crowd. Now, I understand your community comes from being in the crowd, right? But I've done enough work for consistently over 8 years. I have so much out there that if you want to be a part of the crowd, you have so much access. You have, years of podcast content. There's just so much, right? So the crowd can be the crowd, but there's enough now that if you're in the crowd, you can go to the curious without needing me to do something that I haven't already done, right? You can go from curious, actually. Again, I have resources. I have built a company with resources, experiences, digital resources, where you can go from crowd to curious without me having to do anything that I haven't already done, right? If I never do another thing, what I have exists and is living and breathing to go take you from crowd to curious, and curious even to committed. However, where my real-time time needs to be spent is now with the committed. That is going to require the real-time new things, right? And really, when I say new, it's not like making up new things. It's the real-time now being in community with you. And so I am with that, we've had the Best Day community for over 2 years now. And we recently moved to a new platform that's so much more user-friendly. And really, it was that physical change I needed because I'm making a change. I'm making a change in the amount of time, the quantity. The quality is not changing. It's always been top tier. The quantity, however, is being up-leveled and doubled and tripled and quadrupled because I no longer want to give my real time to the crowd or the curious. Because I've already done that. It's there already for you. It's to the committed. And it's also because the other day I was about to get on Instagram and I really didn't have the energy to do it. And I stopped myself. I said, so why are you doing it? Why are you drumming up energy for people who are not the people in the crowd who are going to eat it? Are the people who are already in the committed. Does that make sense? And to be clear, this is not to diminish people in the crowd because again, everyone who's in my community started in the crowd, right? Every community that I'm in, I started in the crowd. But it's to say my efforts, my energy is best spent and best honored and protected and maximized with the committed in the community. And so we have a new platform, moving everyone over to the new platform. And I am just completely dousing it with flames in a good way, not burning it down, but blowing it up. We now, like I said, that is going to be my main area of focus. Inside now houses the brand new life class, a course in self-discovery that helps you get clear on who you are, what you want, how to honor your season. It gives you practical guidance for the journey of living a life of peace, joy, health, and intention. And I already had a life class that we created Well, first we did a life class in 2020. For those of you who've been listening that long, let me know if you were here when we did life class in 2020 to 2021, I think somewhere around there. Yes, because I think the first one was April 2020. That was my first life class. And that was a series of videos that came out every Sunday night. We're taking some of those old ones and putting them in the community because I started going back and watching them these are really good. Let's put those in there as resources. But in the community, we had what was called the Best Today curriculum, and that was really, really good. And different levels, you start on one level and go 1, 2, 3, 4 in order of the classes. I'm taking what's kind of a combination of those two, plus using what I have learned. I have had the benefit of working with thousands of women all across the country, all across the globe. Literally, I don't think there's a continent. I'm trying to think, is there a continent where I haven't worked with someone? And taking all of that to really create this new program that is only offered in the community, because this is where my efforts and my energy is going. And I'm very excited about it because when I'm with the committed, my community, it doesn't feel like I'm speaking into a void. At Best Today, we exist to help women just like you be your best one today at a time. So each week on the podcast, we are going to highlight your stories and your voices. So let's see what's in the inbox today. Today, we have reviews of the Best Today community from several members that I want to share with you. The first comes from Tiffany, who writes, I just want to say that life is better together. Although we are miles apart from one another and we may not know each other personally, it is a joy to be in a community with like-minded women. I'm getting so much more accomplished because I'm in community with you all. I love it here. Toby writes, I love that it feels like a family. I feel like I know everyone and we're all in this to be our best selves. I feel like we're all open to really doing the work that's powerful in a community. We have from Book, I can't express how valuable it is to be surrounded with like-minded people who can continue to motivate me. I've also never been a part of a community with so much guidance and involvement from the creator. The tools are just, and then there's the emoji of the perfection. Boom, boom, boom. Eunice writes, I love the fact that I can be a part of a community with like-minded women who are from all over the world, different ages of life and stages of life, circumstances and phases, and that we can not only learn a lot from Shantae, but from each other. Emmy writes, the support, encouragement, and ideas that you can only get in the community, and so many of the besties are on a first-name basis relationship, which is incredible. The fact that you can ask any and every question, get feedback, and express your honest condition in your proactive journey is gold. And lastly, LaShonda writes, I love that this is a safe, brave space for diverse women to grow. I can grow at my own pace, be blessed with women, continuous resources, trainings, and accountability. It is amazing that we have direct communication with our fearless leader, teacher, and sister, Shantae. This is very unique because it's not common to have direct access to the owner instructor. Thank you. Thank you all for sharing how much the Best Today community means to you. One of the things that you consistently hear is that I am there in the community. This is where, like I said, I love to spend my time right in there in community with the committed. Those of you who have decided to truly live a life of intention and take the steps that you need. And one of those is being in community with other people who desire to do the same. I am grateful for each and every name, and I want to welcome you into the Best Today community. Join us over on our new platform that's even better than our previous platform and so much more user-friendly. You can join us today by looking right wherever you're listening. Scroll down, you'll see the link, or go to besttodaycommunity.com. Thank you, ladies, for sharing just why the community matters to you. And it's something you have to come and experience. So come on in today, besttodaycommunity.com. It doesn't feel like I'm talking to deaf ears. Is that okay to say? Is that okay to say? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Let me say that. It's not as though I'm talking and the words are falling on the ground and people are walking by, trampling over them. And that is kind of into a void. And that is what it has felt like a lot lately, which is frustrating when you care deeply about people and want to know that you have something that they need and that they acknowledge it, but they're not willing to take the next step. That is no longer my burden, right? I'm going to spend my time with the committed. So whether you're listening and you're part of the crowd or the curious or the committed, I want to make that known because one, maybe that will help you in thinking about something in your own life. But two, I want to be very clear so that you can see where you are and where you will know where my time will be and where you can get me. Yeah, right. Where you get that access to me is by in the community with the committed. There's going to be so much exclusive content in there, previous workshops and classes that I've done over the last 3 years. When I go out and do different things, I'm likely to get recordings of them that will be housed in the community. I really want this to be the one place where I'm just there. And it's not, okay, are you here and on that platform and this and that? No, in the community, that's where you will find me. And so that is my update. That is me getting back to what I want and what really matters and excites me. And I'm pretty sure I know myself once I have like time off and start thinking, there's so much more to come, so much more to come. And it will only be in the community. So this is your invitation to join the committed in the community, in the Best Today community, which is linked where you're listening right now, the Best Today community. But I also want to leave this with you to think about: where are the places that you are just standing in the crowd, wasting your time and perhaps someone else's? Now, again, before any of us are committed to something, we once stood in the crowd. So this is not saying that. What it is saying is, are you standing in like 50 crowds? Maybe it's time to prune those. Are you sitting in crowds where it's time for you to become curious, or crowds where you need to exit? Why are you in that crowd? And where you're curious, is it time for you to go to a level of being committed and finding a community? Or are you curious and you found out that this actually isn't what you want, which is an option too, right? And I'm grateful for those who go from crowd to curious to realizing this isn't for me, because that's the whole point, right? But I want to challenge you. Where are you curious, and where are you going to decide to move to the level of being in commitment? And that's a life question, right? That's not just who are the, inspirational people you might know from the internet or in real life. That's a question that if you pause and think about it, maybe write it down, you realize this is a deeper question. So are you in the crowd? Are you among the curious? Or are you committed? And where are those places where you're maybe on one or three of those levels? Is the question I just want to leave with you today. And as always, let's talk about it. Of course, the best place to talk to me about it is over in the community. Let's have a conversation, besttodaycommunity.com. But also you can text us 404-737-1002 if you are have a US-based number. If you don't, come on over to the community. Of course, you can always email us, hello@besttoday.co. But that's my question for you that I do want to leave with you today. Crowd, curious, committed. Don't overcommit. Don't be, I think it's challenging to be committed to like 60 different things. But I also don't want to be standing in 60 different crowds. I don't want to be standing in 6 crowds. I like curious because that's where we're getting the information. That's where we're doing the chewing on the information and the thinking and the thought and the trying and the testing and the tweaking. That feels really good. But at some point, move from curious to committed, or get off the boat. Get out the crowd. And where are those places in your life where you can see that? That's what I want to leave with you today. Thank you for listening to today's episode and being present with me. Everything that I do here at Best Today, on the podcast and the company and just in my being, is to help you to live well. I was listening to some of the videos from 2020, and I used to always say, help you live life on the other side of busy. That too. If you're interested in learning more about Best Today and the resources that we have, you can always go to besttoday.co/quiz. Join us in the community at besttodaycommunity.com, all of which are linked below. And if you'd like to hear more from me, now when I write as just me, Shante Grant, not me, owner of a company, I write over on my publication For Those on the Journey, which you can find at forthoseonthejourney.com. We'll link to that in the show notes as well. Thank you again for listening, and I'll talk to you on the next episode, and really do hope to see all of you who are committed and in community with me. I'll see you in the Best Today community. If you enjoyed this week's episode of the Best Today podcast, you are going to love the Best Today Guide. Our Better Than a Planner guide teaches you how to get clear on what you want, identify your self-destructive habits and behaviors, and intentionally create space to prioritize yourself every single day. Don't go the journey to being your best one today at a time without the Best Today Guide. See inside its pages and order yours today at besttodayguide.com. Even better, when you order the Best Today Guide, we gift you with your first month free inside of the Best Today membership. So what are you waiting for? We're giving you everything you need to trade busy for intention. Go to besttodayguide.com and order yours today and join thousands of women across the globe proclaiming each day, this is what my best today looks like.